If I only had 6 tips to send to my past self to become a better role player faster, these are the tips I would use. Hi everybody, I'm Willowwares, and welcome to another Quick in the Guide, where I quickly show you how to improve at the table. And hey, this is system agnostic, so any game, any time, any place, these tips will help you out. So let's hop on the tips train. I'm your I'm your conductor. I'm Thomas the Tank Engine, crashing through your walls, crawling around your ceilings. Let's go! Number 1. Help as a handshake. Often new players are going to have a hard time in the getting to know you phase of the first few sessions. Even if you know the people at the table, your characters don't. And lots of players have difficulty establishing camaraderie naturally. Good thing the solution is mechanically in your character's very tasty bones. That's right, IRL charismatic people get wrecked. Numbers win. Accountants win. Who else is charismatic? TED Talk guests? Yes, TED Talk guests, they lose. They lose the game. Basically, you land in this unfamiliar, strange world with a very specific set of skills.
But what I do have are a very particular set of skills. Skills I've acquired over a very long career. Skills that make me a nightmare for people like you.
Whether it's in combat or out of combat, offering assistance is a mechanically grounded way to break the ice. It's a great way to telegraph what kind of character you are to your party. For example, the first session at the tavern isn't going as well as it could. Everyone in the party is incredibly social except the rogue, who's decided to sit in a corner. It's also the player's first session, and they're doing this because they're actually very nervous. The conversation is going pretty poorly because the rogue wants to maintain his character trait of aloofness, but it's coming across like he's just not participating. Suddenly, some of the guards burst in and point at the bard. She's in trouble. I don't know, she didn't pay her parking ticket or something. Whatever, you get it. She starts to weave a story, but it's still not looking good. The player looks down at their sheet and hey, right there, outside of backstory and all that mushy stuff they don't really get yet, there's a higher number next to deception than some of the other ones. That's a concrete ability that they can rely on. The typically distant rogue can't resist a good story, so he helps the bard lie her way out of trouble by pretending she's a famous celebrity to dazzle the guards. Suddenly, the rest of the party understands that here's someone who they might be able to depend on. One of the quickest ways to build trust in a party is letting the others know you can help them, and using the hard numbers on your sheet to help you with the soft skills at the table is a great place to start if you still need those training wheels. Number 2. I heard it in another room. So this is one of the most bread and butter, Vlasic classic pickle mistakes that people make at the table. Let's set the scene. You're in another room with your fellow rogue at the fantasy 7-Eleven, sneakily borrowing a potion or two from the local merchant. You whisper to your friend there's a particularly expensive looking Monster energy drink that they should grab next to the arcane hot dogs. The paladin, who is supposed to be blissfully unaware, speaking to the merchant outside, but has been internally champing, which that's the word, it's not chomping, it's champing, I learned that, champing at the bit to get to the scene because they feel it is wrong to steal, claims they heard you say this. I'm sure you can think of a time when this or some variant of it has happened to you or happened to somebody at your table. And hey, tell me about the gossip in the comments below. I won't tell anybody, I promise. The remedy of this mistake is simple. Just remember your character is sitting in a fictional world very, very far from where you are. If anything, the paladin finding out they inadvertently helped a robbery later in the game offers up a funny or tense character moment with the party. You might think that this is a singular problem that stands on its own, but really it's usually a symptom of one of two things. Number 1, and I found this to be the more common one, the offending player just wasn't paying attention. They were looking at their phone or second screen and didn't realize that Scooby and the gang had split up. Or number 2, the player feels the need and worries that they will miss opportunities to exert their character during appropriate moments. This is actually a really good trait to have. The only thing the player needs to learn is when to let stuff ride. Which leads me to the next tip. Come with me to the next tip! Hurry! Number 3, bean soup theory. Now, before everybody gets angry at me for using a TikTok trend, just give me a second. This mistake is super prevalent right now, just everywhere. Just bean soup bursting through the pipes, the walls, everywhere. And I'd argue keeping an eye on it will improve your roleplay in so many different situations. So to explain it simply, a woman posts a delicious bean soup recipe online, only to be met with a comment section full of, but what if I don't like beans? It's when somebody asks, but what about me? In a situation that doesn't exactly apply to them, often misinterpreting the context to recenter the conversation around themselves. Instead of just scrolling past because they don't like beans, the person attempts to redirect the content into a package they understand and like. They aren't always trying to be rude, it's more about not wanting to process content that you can't relate to. I could talk about media theory around this for forever and how it relates to nerddom as a whole and affects the online discourse around it, but you came here for useful, actionable advice, so here's an example. The party has reached the entrance to the paladin's chosen pagan deity's temple. The golden spires and marble towers sweep far above the skyline, and if you look closely, you can make out the shimmering pattern on its walls. It's the very same ancient script written on the paladin's armor, the same armor he pried off his dead father's the same armor he pried off his dead father's body so many years ago, something he's been trying to translate for years. The paladin kneels at the steps, overcome by the possibility that here, after all this time, he could finally find answers. Perhaps it is this very place. And that's when the bard interrupts to say, could I go to the bar? Is there a bar in the temple? Does the sacred text, can the sacred text be a bar instead? This is hyperbole, of course, but you understand where this is going. The player that never checks themselves with the heard it in another room mistake usually has the unfortunate capacity to become a bean soup player. It's kind of like the I heard it in another room is the level 3 feature, and the bean soup theory is like the level 10 feature or whatever for the clown build. But here at Willowares Inc., we're not clowns. And you aren't playing a clown, are you? Are you? No, that's right, no clowns. No clowns allowed. To stop yourself from making this mistake, just ask yourself internally if this is a moment about another player. That's it. That's really it. Not every moment and line in your game is a glowing stop sign for you to halt the party flow and spotlight yourself. If it's a moment about another player, wait for the appropriate depth or breadth in the action to add what is needed from your character. So for these first 3 tips, a sort of theme emerges. It's that you have to just be conscious you're in a story with a lot of different characters and you aren't the main one. For these next tips, I'm gonna dive a little deeper into the Mariana Trench of roleplay tips, maybe tips that aren't so easy to pick up on as a beginner, but still very rewarding and helpful. Number 4, just open the door. Roleplay isn't just the talking around the campfire bits. It's pretty much everything you're going to be doing at the table, besides, I guess, physically rolling the dice, I guess. Comment below if you only roll dice in your mind palace. I don't know. I love players that add a little finesse to their everyday actions. The noblewoman doesn't just grab money out of her purse, she plucks it gingerly. The trickster cleric doesn't nod, he winks. You know what I mean? However, and this is important, you guys have places to be. You've got dragons to kill, mountains to climb, and farmlands to destroy by dropping said mountain on top of and having the dragon burn it and forever changing the course of the surrounding population's lives. And here lies the next RP issue. Let me give you an example. Let's say your party is in the haunted mansion. You've gone through the front entrance already and the place is enormous. You have a long session of opening doors and checking for traps ahead of you. And it goes like this. Imagine I'm the DM and I look really cool. Okay, you've decided to open up the northernmost door. What is your marching order?
Yes, I shall lift my hand and press against the doorknob, slowly, but with the conviction as if the goddess herself was guiding it. And as I look down, I see my fingers, and I am reminded I am hungry for arcane hot dogs and monster energy drink and my goddess-blessed tummy rumbles.
If you do this every time, you will never get anywhere. Since 900% of Willoware's audience members are good with numbers and geniuses, I'll do my best to break it down to a more actionable, digestible sense. I would say if the focus is on you, the proverbial non-existent camera of your campaign's movie set, for a tense moment, feel free to add a little of your own character's flavor, but never ever feel bad for just saying, I open the door. Number 5, time travel is possible. Have you ever made the mistake at the table and feel like you just have to let it fly? Then you think about it in the shower later, and by later I mean the rest of your life? Of course you have, but not all is lost. Remember the heard it from another room point I talked about earlier? Someone being able to admit, oh, sorry, never mind, I'm not even there, carry on, is an incredibly cool thing to admit at the table. It shows you're mature enough to admit mistakes and not force everybody to adapt to you. Now, of course, and death of nuance, I miss you so much every day. This doesn't mean walk back every mistake you've ever made. Sometimes you gotta live with it. You can't time travel too far back, especially if the choices are big deals. Believe me, as a former and perhaps future time traveler, you don't want to mess with that stuff too much. In fact, someone who consistently walks back their decisions is absolutely a problem player, but you'd be surprised at how many players will accidentally, I don't know, they think they speak Elvish and they realize they don't after saying howdy to an elf and hold their head in their hands like they just launched the bean soup player into the moon or something, when the DM would be much more happy just to walk it back. Not a big deal. It doesn't hurt to ask if you aren't asking too often. And finally, arguably the most important point of this video. Number 6, keep moving forward while sitting down at the table. There's really no secret about our approach. We keep moving forward.
opening up new doors and doing new things, because we're curious.
Listen, no matter what you think about Disney, I for one, am terrified of the day that I find a hidden Mickey on the back of my hand, marking me for an ancient curse I cannot hope to cleanse myself of. I know at first glance this quote feels a little, everybody get into the circle and hold hands and share our friendship bracelets, but I promise it's more of an applicable tip here. It's not a quote about dusting yourself off and getting back on the horse exactly. It's the mentality of using iterative curiosity as fuel for forward momentum. Okay, so what do I mean by that? That was a big sentence. Hold on, let me play a silly animal clip to get your attention again. In the creative industry, iteration usually refers to the many different ideas that will be churned out in order to find the best one. It's problem solving in a way that involves lots of thumbnails, sketches, and prototypes. If you approach the problem with the solution you've used time and time again, you might be missing out on some really cool stuff. Basically, if you're curious about a lot of things, it opens up lots of doors. So next time you're at the table, in your mind, go in your mind palace, don't force everyone else to do this, you can be subtle about it, and do not embarrass me. I encourage you to approach the session this way. Is there a spell you could have used in a new or different way? Be curious about it. Listen to the descriptions of the environments carefully, curiously, as you move throughout the dungeon.
This forest is old. Very old.
It's players who are able to jump in and out of this mentality that will get the very coveted DM, oh god dang, that's creative, I'll give you inspiration for that. And hey, that's not all. I'm not finished with you yet. I know I said finally a few seconds ago, listen, I know nothing gets past you guys. Or maybe it does. Comment below if stuff gets past you. But I've written it all down, a gift for you. That's right, an easy, digestible list of notes and examples, so you don't have to. So print it out, put it in your journal, braid it in your hair, and make a nest out of it. And for my extra special patrons, I've made a lovely artified version just for you. Kinda proud of this one, if I do say so myself. Kinda feels like a little ancient monk illuminating a manuscript. I wonder if any monks ever wrote bean soup in gold leaf before. Anyways, if any of these beans were helpful at all, feel free to like and subscribe. And if you're new here, feel free to check out my other videos. I've got plenty of free stuff floating around in there, including items, subclasses, whatever you want. And hit the bell, I guess. Can any of you guys confirm that the bell actually works? The bells. The bells. The bells. The bells. Anyways, see you guys later. Goodbye. Goodbye. You said it over there, but I heard it right here. I don't care, there's a cement wall. I heard everything you just said. And you tried to tell a secret, but I'm not cool with that. So I heard it all, 'cause my character has sonic hearing. I don't care if you're over there, I heard everything. Yeah, I heard everything that you said.